Namaste yogis. Welcome back to the channel. It's great to have you. I'm Chintamani Cloud. Today's practice will be an all levels yoga experience. That way each one of us can find what we need on our mats today. We'll do a full body cleanse. We'll start on the floor in a seated position so that we can open the hips up and get ready for bigger body movements. And then we can safely make our way to standing, do a sun salutation, knock out some standing postures, and hopefully feel really cleansed and released by the end of it. I'll meet you on your mat so that we can get started. Namaste. Starting from a comfortable seated position on your yoga mat, we'll do some shoulder rolls. And we'll start to connect with the breath. Maybe you'll check in with the nasal passageway here to see if it's clear today. And if it is, we'll draw the breaths in and out through the nose. And then we'll inhale to lift the shoulders up towards the ears and exhale as they go down and forward or down and back, whatever part of the cycle you're on. And then we're gonna pause with the shoulders lifting up. We're gonna squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Now we're gonna squeeze them back behind us. Take our hands back to squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Now crawl your fingers out towards the sides. Let your shoulders widen apart, but they're not rolling forward. They're still staying nicely back behind us. And now we need to take our core on board. And so this is gonna be when I'm describing bandhas, I'm describing all the deep muscles that live along the whole of our spine, from the pelvic floor to the base of the head. And so we're igniting here. And if you'd like to, you can close your eyes and draw your gaze within for 3 breaths. Firing the core, seeing if you can keep the core engaged. 2 more breaths. If your eyes need to be open, staring at the tip of the nose or somewhere on the floor, that's okay too. And now we'll lift the hands off the floor. Maybe you'll open your eyes. We'll turn the palms to face up. And now we'll inhale the arms up and overhead, big stretch as you move. Exhale, retrace the circle. Maybe the gaze will come back down, and we'll lift the gaze up maybe with the next movement of the arms as we inhale and exhale. Now right hand's gonna stay on the floor. We're gonna move just left arm up. Inhale, keep the left shoulder in the girdle. Exhale, draw down through the core, and I'm crunching through the inseam of my right side body, pulling left shoulder back, keeping left hip and left knee grounded. And now we'll inhale to lift up. We're gonna come to second side. Exhale, inhaling. We have to remember the shoulder stays in the girdle. Exhale. We crunch the inseam of the left side body. We expand the inseam of the right side body. We pull right shoulder back. We draw the core in to support the movement so we don't arch. We want to stay engaged. Good. Right hip and knee need to stay grounded. And one more breath. We'll go ahead and inhale to lift up. We're lengthening the spine. We're drawing the neck and head in. Exhale to release. Inhale the arms up. Let's exhale, palms to heart center. Now push the palms together, lift the elbows up. We'll stretch the wrists and forearms. Take a nice inhale breath here, and we'll exhale to release. So we'll gather our knees up now on an inhale. We'll exhale to stretch our legs out in front of us, and we're gonna get a little bit of hip opening done before we come into our sun salutations this morning, or whatever time you're practicing today. And so getting ready to come to Janu Shirshasana A with our legs extended out in front of us. We're gonna inhale our left foot in and open our left knee out to the side. And if you've got tightness in the hip, any pain in the knee, we need to assess. That's when we lift the knee up with any kind of support. You can even roll a blanket up. But if we don't have any pain in the knee or hip, we're gonna open this left foot away from the right leg, and we're gonna come to a position with our hands back behind us, pull the shoulders towards the spine, right away draw the core in. Then we're gonna crawl our hands out to our sides. I'm gonna move the block out of my way here. Out to our sides, we're gonna draw our core in. Once again, I'm opening left foot away from right leg. I'm engaging right leg all the way down to the toes. Take an inhale breath as you bring your hands forward, draw the core in. Exhale, notice that I'm drawing the core in, but it is not compressing my body. It's still lengthening me. It's the secret recipe here to one day lengthening my spine flat along my extended right leg. However, even for me today, I've got a lot of tension in the back of my leg in this pose. So I eventually then start to weaken the muscles and round through the spine and just breathe into the stretch in the back side of your right leg, my left. As I'm mirroring, we open the knee out, we fold forward, one more breath, and now we'll inhale to lift up. Exhale, we're gonna draw the knee up. And now we're gonna come into a nice hip opener. We're gonna cross the left leg over the right. You can stay right here. If you're already getting enough of a workout in this outer hip, trying to lower the left foot. If you're not feeling much, maybe you lean into your right hip, pull your right heel to meet your left hip. And I'm guiding us into this because if you are here with me, it means you've been here before kind of thing. Otherwise, maybe we just stay right here with extended leg. So this is where I'll demo. Then right hand's gonna come to left knee and left hand back behind us. We're gonna take a nice inhale breath to lengthen the spine. Exhale, twist. And this is very much needed medicine. We have a very tight, weak area of the body here in the outer hip and glute. So this is, it's coming into this whole area here, down at the lower glute, around the outer hip, and then to the lower back. So you might be feeling that everywhere, and then you can take the twist right into the neck if you'd like to as you gaze towards your left shoulder for one more breath. Then we're gonna inhale up to center and exhale to extend the legs out. Maybe you'll do that self-massage, getting ready for second side. So we'll start in a position with both legs extended out in front of us. We'll inhale right foot in, we'll open right knee out. Assess if you need to support. If you have any extreme tension in the hip or knee or inner thigh, supporting a lifted knee and working into how much of the stretch you can handle will be your job. If you're here with me today in that flexible range, we're gonna open the right foot away from the left leg. Then our hands are gonna come back behind us. This is to find our core. We often don't associate core with forward folds, but we do with our posture. So let's find it now so that we can sit up nice and tall. Crawling our hands out to our sides, now our hands forward, core is on board. We take an inhale. We try to bring the hands towards the feet as we exhale. Maybe we touch, maybe we don't touch. Continue to externally rotate your right femur. This should activate your inner thigh. So it's actually engaged while it's stretching. We often don't associate flexibility with an engaged muscle, but that's actually how we assess and access the muscle's deepest potential, is if we can learn to stretch it while it's engaged. So let's be here for 2 more breaths. Opening up deeply through the backside of this extended left leg. And then we'll go ahead and inhale to lift up, getting a nice stretch for me too today in the lower back. Exhale to release as we roll those shoulders back. We're gonna inhale to float the right knee up, and now you're gonna assess. Some of us might just be right here, twisting because we're real tight. But if we've got the room, we try to aim right foot over the left leg. Now, if this right foot is coming towards the floor and that right hip is still staying on the floor, maybe then we lean left and float left heel to right hip. So if that's you, enjoy that. Enjoy any binds that you have. Otherwise, we're gonna hug this right leg in, float right hand back behind us. I'm pushing into the floor with my hand to actually push me into a seated position to assist my core. We're gonna take an inhale here, and we're gonna twist over that right shoulder. If you wanna take the stretch into the neck, you will notice that it is a tightness and a weakness in your own body allowing this movement to occur. Nothing else there, but a tightness and a weakness. And so we find strength and flexibility just by steering the gaze intentionally towards that right shoulder. Let's go ahead and inhale to lift up to center. And now we can exhale to release the leg, release the clasp, release whatever tangle your body is up in. Any self-massage if you'd like, if you want to shake it out. And now we're going to bring the soles of both feet together and widen the knees apart. And this is the end of our hip opening, and then we'll be doing some more vigorous movements. So bringing the soles of the feet together, we're going to widen the knees apart. How can we modify this posture? Don't bring your feet in as far. What's another natural modification? Propping the knees up with blankets, towels, or blocks. So this posture is already very challenging, but many people think that the purpose of this pose is just to bring the knees towards the floor. But actually, the purpose of this posture is to bring the knees towards the floor and then to bring the chest to the feet. So what we need to do is tap into our core, believe it or not. Once again, we're gonna bring the hands back behind us. We're gonna open across the collarbones, across the heart here, as we squeeze the shoulders towards the spine. Now, one thing that happens when we do our back bending is we lose our core. So the next thing we gotta do is find the core with open shoulders. How do we find that? You'll feel it. We'll crawl our fingers out to the sides, extending them just as we did before, right out from those hips, and do you feel it? If you don't engage your core, what's gonna happen to you? You're gonna be in this shape right now. So find your core, lift yourself up tall, hold the core to keep you there. Now bring your hands to your feet. You feel your core now, right? We're gonna take an inhale breath, draw the core in, exhale, forward fold. This is what we're gonna aim for here. And some folks will hold on to the feet and they'll pull on their feet to assist bending at the elbows and drawing the torso forward to one day bring the face towards the floor in front of you. But you can also choose to just extend maybe your arms if it's too much to hold the feet or if there's not enough room. So you can go ahead and extend your arms if you haven't tried that yet. Keep trying to open the feet out away from each other. Keep trying to lower the knees. Keep trying to draw the core in. And keep trying to bring the chest to the legs. Feel that deep opening in the inner thighs. Enjoy it. Welcome it. Breathe into it so we can heal and strengthen. As we open, we're gonna inhale as we walk our hands in and lift our chests up, and exhale, we'll roll our shoulders back, lean into our hands and draw our knees up, and you can shake that out if you'd like to. Okay, from here, I'm gonna bring my feet to one side. My hips are going to the other side, and now I'm getting ready to transition to a tabletop position. We'll move through some cat-cow tilts with the spine next. Inhaling, we'll come into a back bend, so your belly goes down, your gaze lifts up. Exhale, we reverse that. The middle of the back is lifting to the ceiling. Inhale. Maybe you're on your own breath cues now, moving through your own inhale, exhale. But each time we inhale, we're trying to cultivate this back bend shape. And the exhale, this forward compression, a nice stretch in the upper back and lower back. Good. All right, last one. And now we're gonna get ready to do some low lunges. So we're gonna come to a neutral position. We're gonna lift onto our fingertips and we're gonna make this a core exercise. So we need to get our core on board. We're gonna draw the right thigh up and into the chest and place the foot forward up in between the hands. And then you're gonna lean into your lunge. And when you're ready, we're gonna come up to hands to hips. We're gonna tuck the tailbone under, draw the core in, extend the arms, and then lift them up. Maybe you've already got your arms overhead, lunge into your right knee, get that deep stretch in the front side of the left hip, keep drawing the core in, tucking the tailbone under. It should intensify the stretch in the front side of that left hip for one more breath. Inhale here, we're gonna exhale to lower our hands down. Stay on your fingertips and we're gonna use this as a core exercise. So you walk your hands back in, bring your left hip so that's on top of your left knee. Slide this foot in. Now really try to lift the foot and thigh and knee up into the chest to place then the knee back behind you, and you can shake that out. We're gonna get ready for our second side, and I'll turn and demo this on the other side. So we're gonna get ready to draw that left foot forward up in between the hands. We're drawing the thigh and knee up into the chest. Then you can crawl your toes forward, bend into the knee, bring the hips forward. Now the thing we wanna do is we don't wanna keep the belly on the leg and roll the shoulders back and arch to the lower back. We're gonna lift. We're gonna lift. We're gonna tuck the tailbone under, draw the ribs and navel in. And when you're ready to extend the arms and lift them up, keep tucking the tailbone under, drawing the ribs and navel in. I'm getting a deep, clear stretch in the front side of that right hip. Bring the hips forward, lunge into the front foot. If you'd like to go deeper, always drawing the core in for one more breath and exhale to release. And this is that core work. So I'm gonna bring the right hip back so it's in front of the knee. If you need to slide your foot in to give yourself a little bit of an ease, it'll help. And this is where you're gonna try to lift the foot, lift the knee and thigh into the chest. You should feel that in your psoas, in your core. And we're gonna shake that out and we're gonna come up to standing now. So when you're ready to, we're gonna step the right foot forward up in between the hands, then the left. We'll take an inhale into our half fold, our exhale into our full fold. Shake it out there, stay there for an extra breath. Hang ragdoll. And then let the arms dangle forward as you come up to standing. Lift those shoulders up, squeeze the shoulders up, roll them back behind you 2 more times. And 1 more. And we're gonna get ready for our sun salutations. So the way we can modify our sun salutations, we can utilize a blanket on the floor for the knees if we need to use the knees, otherwise maybe getting that out of the way. And we're gonna get ready. Sun salutation A, or B. We're gonna start off at the front of our mats with our tailbone tucked under. We're gonna draw our core in. Inhale, we're gonna bend into the knees and draw the arms up for chair pose. Exhale, we're gonna dive forward into a forward fold. We'll inhale into our half lift. Hands can stay on the floor or lift to shins. Exhale, you're gonna try to bend into your knees. You can stay on your fingertips or lower your palms down. Step your right foot back, drop your right knee down or keep it lifted. Step your left foot back, drop your left knee down or keep it lifted. Find plank with the knees down if you need to. Core can still be engaged or knees can be lifted. 1 more breath here. And now as we lower down through chaturanga, everyone can lower the knees or they can stay lifted. Exhale, shoulders come forward, core engages as we lower all the way down. Roll the shoulders back. Inhale, gentle back bend or deep, whatever you're ready for. Then I'm gonna lift back through plank and into downward facing dog. Looking back behind you, you might even tuck the chin in for a couple of breaths. Otherwise, just lengthening through the neck and head, pulling the neck back, tucking the chin in. We're drawing the core in. We're engaging the body fully as we open the body fully, realigning in the spine, calming the mind, coming back to the breath. And now we're gonna inhale the right leg up and back. If you need to move your left foot over to center a little bit, that can sometimes help. We're gonna inhale right leg up and back. And if you'd like to, you can open your right hip up over the left. And if you wanna bend at the knee, you can too. And then we're gonna re-square the hips. And now this is our core work here. We're gonna draw and squeeze our foot, our thigh and our knee into the chest so that we can step that foot forward up in between the hands. And so we're starting on our traditional right side. We're gonna come into warrior 1, inhaling the arms right up into position. We're gonna take 5 deep breaths here. And then we're gonna exhale, release. Hands are gonna come down to frame the right foot. We're gonna lift off of the left heel so that we're in our low lunge. We can step back, tabletop, or modified plank, or full plank, and optional vinyasa, chaturanga dandasana. Upward facing dog or gentle cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. And so I'm doing the same side as everyone now. Now we're gonna come onto our left side. If you wanna move right foot over, you can inhale your left leg up. And then we're gonna open left hip up over the right. And you're gonna try to re-square your hips. And then we're gonna draw the thigh and knee into the chest. You can lift onto your fingertips to help you make the room to gently guide your foot forward up in between the hands. I'm opening right toes out, inhaling to warrior 1 on second side. Arms can be way apart if you've got tight shoulders. We can be in cactus shape. We can be in a wide V, or we can be hands together, or maybe somewhere in between, parallel arms. Western style alignment here. So traditionally, hands are together, shoulders are widening as far apart as they can. Otherwise, maybe we're here, here, or here. 1 more breath. And exhale, lower down. We'll come and frame the left foot. So I'm setting up for a low lunge position so I can step right back into plank, but we can use the knees if we need to. Exhaling, inhaling, cobra or upward facing dog. Exhaling, downward facing dog. Deep breaths here. Even closing the eyes if you'd like to, calming the mind and coming back to the breath. And then we're gonna inhale onto the balls of the feet. Exhale as we bend through the knees, walking or floating your feet forward. It can be little jumps, little walks, whatever you've got. We'll inhale up to our half lift. Exhale to our forward fold. Then we're gonna bend into our knees. Inhale our arms up into a chair pose. So same position. I like to do the traditional alignment where hands are coming together and we're trying to widen the shoulders apart. But some of you might need to be as wide apart as cactus or a big V or somewhere in between. Let's go ahead and inhale up to standing. Draw the core in. Exhale, Samastitihi. And we're gonna get ready to do just a couple more standing postures before we close our practice. So now opening out in a wide-legged position on your mat. Maybe you have to adjust your mat so that it can face the screen. We're gonna get ready to do warrior two, triangle, and wide-legged forward fold. So we'll start with a wide-legged forward fold, all 10 toes facing the same direction. We're gonna inhale our arms out into a star, and we're gonna exhale to come forward. Then we're gonna inhale, lengthen spine, core draws in. Exhale, I'm walking my hands back. I'm not changing the direction of my fingers. And I'm walking them back and back and back. And the process is drawing my chest to the gap between my legs. Now, some of us then might get a little more comfortable and start to walk the feet away from each other. And you'll see where you're at. And then we're gonna inhale, and we're gonna walk our hands back forward. That's it, just a little stretch there. If you need to heel toe your feet in a little closer together, draw the core in. Exhale, float your hands to hips. If you need to bend at the knees, you can too. And then we're gonna inhale up to standing. Just a quick little stretch there. We're gonna come back to it a couple times. Now we'll come into our triangle, starting out on our first side. Maybe we'll start on our left side. So we'll bend into left knee. Turn the left toes out. Now I'm mirroring once again, just in case anyone's following that. We'll inhale our arms out into a T. Now the way I like to enter triangle position, I don't want us to swoosh, kind of create this movement of the hips back and this leaning of the shoulders forward, because this actually arches the spine and it takes us out of alignment and it cheats us into thinking we've gone deeper. So in our yoga practice, we're gonna do the traditional alignments and we're gonna blend them with Western alignments. We're not gonna go all the way towards the floor, but we're not gonna take the hips out of alignment. Instead, we're gonna draw the hips forward to tuck the tailbone under and the core in. And keeping this all engaged, now exhale, inseam of left side body, bends down, it engages, this expands, and we're gonna try to float the fingertips towards the floor. So with control, we're both floating this left hand and lowering it towards the floor. And your gaze can be in the middle path or maybe up towards the ceiling, but then we have to tuck the chin in towards the right. This will help us open for one more breath. Then take the gaze down if it's lifted, bend into your knee. If it's straightened, we inhale to a star, core draws in. Exhale, hands to hips, tough one. And we'll bend into the left knee, turn left toes forward, we'll come into second side. Bending into right knee, right toes open. We inhale our arms into a star. Now we're not going to lean forward with the shoulders and arch the hips back. Instead, we're gonna bring the hips forward, tuck the core in, squeeze up through the glutes, the inner thighs, take an inhale, and exhale, draw through the core, draw through the core. Now this side has to expand as I peel my left hip back and draw my right hip forward. My gaze can be on the floor as I try to bring my right hands down as much as I can. I keep my core drawn in and then pull left shoulder back, maybe draw the gaze up, lengthen the spine for one more breath. Gaze is lifted, let's lower it. If the leg is straightened, you can bend it. You don't have to, but it helps with the lift up, and then we can exhale, hands to hips. Bend into the knee, back to all 10 toes facing the same direction for one more wide-legged forward fold. We're gonna inhale our arms out to the sides. We're gonna exhale our hands back behind us. We're trying to interlace the fingers. So bending at the elbows to interlace the fingers is okay. Now, many folks immediately come to this position, and I'm gonna invite us instead to think of this position. Now, this will be challenging for folks if they're not feeling a stretch, so the next thing you need to think of is straightening your arms as much as you can. And then the next thing you wanna think about is pulling your hands away from your lower back as much as you can. So those are the two things we wanna face, or literally what we wanna move towards processing is this movement of the hands, excuse me, I should have stayed facing this way, but widening the wrists apart instead of keeping the wrists together, and then straightening the arms as much as they can and pulling the hands away from the lower back. Maybe you're already feeling a stretch, just making those alignments happen. If you wanna add the forward fold, let's do it. We'll take an inhale, we'll exhale, forward fold. So now I'm coming to the gap between the legs. I already know my own alignment. Some of us might benefit from heel toeing the feet apart a little bit more. If you're able to get the head towards the floor, then you might be able to create an anchor to get the hands to the floor. Some of us might not be there yet. That's okay. Wherever you are, for one more breath, Then when you're ready, we're gonna inhale to lift up, exhale to release and roll through the shoulders, and then heel toe the feet safely to a place where you can then step them closer together, and we'll just walk that out. So there's one more posture I'd really like to have us visit before we kind of close our practice with some core work on the floor and back bending on the floor. And that's our warrior two posture. So from here, we did some shoulder rolls. We've got our feet together. We're gonna go ahead and widen our feet apart once again. And we'll inhale our arms out into a star. Exhale, hands to hips. We're gonna bend into left knee, turn the left toes out. Inhale our arms back out. Exhale, bend into left knee, warrior two. If you need to crawl your left toes forward any amount, feel welcome to, but don't chase the foot. Draw in through the obliques. Stay up nice and tall. Tuck the tailbone under, draw the ribs and navel in. And then shoulders are facing the screen, but gaze and chin are looking away towards the left fingertips for one more breath. We'll inhale to straighten out left leg. Exhale, hands to hips. They could stay extended if you'd like to do something spicier. We'll bring left toes to face forward and we'll come into second side. And I like to have a heel to arch alignment because my hips are open enough for it. We'll inhale the arms up. Get ready to exhale and bend into your right knee when you're ready. But some folks might like more of a heel to arch alignment or even really wide. You could bring that right leg all the way towards the right edge of your mat if you'd like. But we want to pull this left shoulder back. We want to tuck this tailbone under. And maybe we'll want to take the gaze out over towards those right fingertips for 2 more breaths. And then, then we'll inhale to straighten out the leg. Exhale, hands to hips. We'll turn those toes to face forward. We'll heel toe the feet to a place where it's safe enough to step them up close together, and we can walk it out on the spot with some shoulder rolls. Sigh it out the mouth if you need to. Let out a cleansing breath. And we'll make our way towards the front edge of our mats to come into our boat position, and that's gonna take us towards the floor. Inhaling the arms up, and we're gonna get ready to dive forward as we exhale, draw the core in. We're gonna look back behind us, and we're gonna try to touch the floor. It's okay if we don't. And then we can inhale to our half lift. And now as we exhale, we're gonna do a deep, deep bend in the knees, and this is gonna help us to come towards the floor. If the heels need to lift off, that's okay, but if they can touch down, that's okay too. So, but many of us will probably find actually that it's easier that the heels will be lifting up, and that's okay. And we're gonna try to then get to a place with the heels going down, and you're gonna bring your hands back behind you to assist, and we're gonna bring the hips towards the floor now. We're gonna walk the toes forward. Let's point those toes. Let's draw the belly in, and let's hold on to the backs of the legs. And the reason why I want us to hold on to the backs of the legs is because I want us to get really no weight in the legs of the core. The core is not gonna hold the weight of the legs here. Just your core is holding just itself. So use this time here where you're holding the legs to draw the spine long and the core in. And then we wanna keep that core engaged as we start to lean back into the sit bones and start to flow one foot up and then the other. And that's why we're holding, because now you'll notice the core wants to poof, poof. It wants to balloon out, and we're gonna hold the core in. Maybe we're gonna straighten the legs. You can even crawl your hands up, and maybe you'll even take your hands off of your legs for one more breath. Draw the core in, and then we're gonna bend at the knees, and we're gonna bring the hands back forward, and we're gonna give ourselves a little hug. Nice stretch here. Upper back and neck as we tuck the chin in. And now we're gonna get ready to lay onto our back, so we wanna make sure we're in the right position to do that. And we can do a boat position floating down towards the floor if you wanna do more core work, or you can just ease yourself down in a way that's safer for you. But if you wanna do the more core with me, we'll come back into boat, and then we'll let the legs come down, arms forward, draw the belly in, squeeze through the glutes, draw the belly in. And as you come all the way down towards the floor, let out a cleansing breath if you need to, if you'd like to. Whatever feels good. We'll do a back bend to end our practice. We'll bend at the knees, give us a nice little release in the lower back, across the chest. So we're gonna tuck the tailbone under. It's gonna lift the pelvis off the floor. It's gonna lift the glutes off the floor. I'm gonna extend my arms alongside the body with palms facing down. Neck is pushing into the floor, head too. Chin is drawing in. And then with that pelvic bone tucking under, Belly's drawing in, glutes lift up. And it's these opposing forces. Belly drawing in, but glutes squeezing to lift up. That takes me into the right alignment along the spine and helps me to open and release. If you want to do your shoulder clasp, go ahead and add that. If your hands are clasped, we'll go ahead and release. And we'll lower down. And when you're ready, feet can draw into the chest. Give yourself a nice hug. Roll a little bit from side to side if that feels good in the lower back. So if you've got the time and there's other things you're trying to add to your practice, feel welcome to. But if you're following the clock, as am I, I'll invite us to close our practice in a reclined butterfly position. So this way it's a little bit more relaxing than the one we did at the start of our practice. We'll draw the soles of the feet together. We'll widen the knees apart. Your arms can be alongside the body. Maybe you'll have your hands on your belly, or maybe one hand on the belly, one hand on the heart. If you need to expand through the collarbones, the chest and the shoulders, maybe extend your arms out into a T or into cactus shape. And this is where I'll leave you. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Namaste.